So in the previous class, we had started with the third chapter, that is Around a Medicinal Creeper by Purnachandra Tejasvi. We saw how the author came to know about a medicinal creeper. He has described about the plant. He has narrated various incidents of Mara, his cock and bull stories, etc. Today we are going to continue and listen to the interesting story by Mara when he was asked what if he gets a plant that will bring back his youth. So let's begin from page number 21. Long ago, Mara and a friend of his laid a trap and caught a barking deer. You can see the picture. It's a barking deer. It's called as barking deer why? Because it makes sound, it barks like a dog. So as they had to divide it equally between them, they took it near to the stream, skinned it, cleaned, and divided the meat. They wrapped their portions in some leaves and brought them home. In Mara's house, they got ready to cook. They prepared the masala with spices, put the water to boil, and opened the packet to take out the meat. Surprise of surprises. Instead of the meat, there was a live wild buck. The moment it saw Mara, it jumped up and ran out of his house. When Mara was trying to catch it, as usual, Mara's wife ignorantly took the leaves and threw them into the fire. If you remember, I told you when while walking into the forest of Kolhapur, I met a forest officer, and one more incident what he narrated was about this particular leaves. He told that the people over here, Adivasi people over here, they say that there are certain leaves. If you pack meat in those leaves for 12 to 24 hours, it joins. Now, how much is the story or how much what they say is true and how much it is false, we don't know. But yes, it can be experimented. And the same incident I have learned, I have seen somewhere in YouTube where they had mentioned about elephant creeper. This elephant creeper has got big leaves, and the person who was narrating, he said the same thing, that the Adivasis, they say that these particular leaves are medicinal leaves, and if you keep, or suppose if you tie these leaves, if you have a cut, if you have a wound, if you tie that particular leaf for 12 to 24 hours, the wound gets healed. So let's continue with the story. When I heard this story, I was speechless, and I did not ask Mara for any elaboration or explanation because this was the height of his inventive genius. Yes, he is, I can say Mara was very well versed in inventing new stories, and it is no wonder that the white man of Hilihindalu was prepared to give away his entire estate in exchange for these wonder plants. Now it has been a long time since I sold that estate, and Mara is also dead and gone. Of course, as I've informed you, narrator had bought estate because he loved roaming into forest, he loved to be with the nature, but later on, maybe due to some reason, he had sold that estate, and he says that now it's it's more time now, that even Mara is no more, he is dead and gone. It is difficult to dismiss all of Mara's stories as buncombe. Now, the word buncombe means slang or nonsense talk. Some little detail remains to bother your conscience. The total disinterest that Mara showed in trying to argue with us, or convince us for that matter, to lie or tell the truth, continues to bother us. Of course, he says that Mara, maybe just to convince us, he had narrated those stories, or he had created those stories. Whether he really knew about the medicinal importance of those plants or he just told a lie is not clear. But later on, as we go on to page number 22, the narrator says that after a long time, Mara's medicinal creeper was back in the news. This time I saw Appanna tying it to a nearby tree. I asked him whether he knew its uses. He did not know. I believe if you squeeze the juice of these leaves, milk becomes hard, he said. I thought that probably the leaf of this creeper must be sour. When you squeeze something sour into the milk, it spoils and curdles. You might have seen your mother preparing curd, or you might have seen your mother preparing paneer. If she squeezes lemon juice into milk or something sour is poured into milk, the milk gets spoiled or it curdles. So I thought this was being mistaken for hardening of milk. I asked Apanna, have you seen it happen? So it's quite natural. He heard it from Apanna, so he now wanted to just confirm whether you have tried doing it. That is what people say, was the reply of Apanna. Where can I find milk for all such experiments? He replied. Of course, Apanna is a laborer, is a worker, is a poor man, and he cannot afford milk to even prepare tea. How can he afford milk to do all such experiments? Let's continue. Is there any basis for the stories that are spread about these plants and herbs? I wondered whether I should squeeze the leaves into milk and see what happens. Instead of criticizing others for not knowing, I thought it would be better to check it out on my own. It's quite a good decision taken by author. Instead of putting the blame on others or instead of asking others whether they have really tried or not, author thought, why don't he try it? I plucked some leaves from the creeper and took them to my friend Chandru, who is a plant pathologist. A plant pathologist is the person who studies about plants. I told him what I had heard about this plant. We decided to conduct the experiment and brought a liter of milk. The other scientist friends laughed at us. They said that we were wasting a liter of good milk listening to all kinds of cock and bull stories. Once we had decided to play the fools, now to play the fools, the meaning of this phrase is to deliberately act foolishly. Play the fools. We couldn't care less. Couldn't care less in the sense we did not matter, we did not bother, we were not concerned about others laughing at us. So we put the milk and leaves into a mixer and switched it on. After they were thoroughly mixed, we poured it out into a vessel. We watched for some time to see whether it would become curdled or remain as it was. Nothing happened for a couple of minutes. Just as I decided that we had indeed wasted a liter of milk, I touched it again. It had become firm and rubbery. When we inverted the vessel, the whole thing fell out like a molded cast. If you see, I have taken a pic. Of course, it's of a slime, but milk, when it is, when this leaves juice is mixed with the milk, it turns out to be of the same texture what you see in front. Only the thing is the color is green color. Why I'm saying this, because I was really happy to know that one of your seniors, she tried doing it. She went home when she got to know about this particular medicinal creeper. She asked her parents, she asked her grandparents, and she had this creeper in her in her veranda. She tried. Of course, she did not take 1 liter milk, but she tried using a cup of milk and the juice of these leaves. She mixed it, and what you see in front was the slime, or you can say the rubbery mold, which she had brought to college. We all saw it, and even her classmates, they touched it. It was green in color. Of course, the smell was very bad, but yes, we got to know it really turns milk, or it curdles milk, or it makes milk into a rubbery mold. So then this creeper had some qualities. Let's move on page number 23. So then these creeper had some qualities. That is what the author got to prove. Yes, what is heard was true. Now it was our turn to wonder. But the problem was that despite all of this, we didn't know which disease or diseases it cured. Of course, they got to know it has got some magical powers, but they were not sure which disease or diseases were cured by this particular medicinal plant. Though no one seemed to know, just like Mara, all and Sanjay used to go around tying this creeper to the nearest plant and muttering, "Stay here." I had never seen anyone actually go back to untie it and take it home for some ailment. So here the author is saying that yes, of course, no one knew exactly which disease or diseases it cured. Only what he has seen is like people like Mara and Panna or Sanna, whatever you can say, they tied the creeper whenever they say or saw this creeper, but no one untied it and no one took it home. Next para. Time passed and once again I forgot about Mara's medicinal creeper. Of course, if you see, he had already mentioned it took almost 20 years for the author to know exactly what are the medicinal importance of this particular creeper. So before that, before Mara died, he knew about it. Later on, he forgot about the plant. Then Appanna, he saw Appanna tying the plant. Again, it was into a discussion, and then again he forgot about this particular plant. So then the next part he says is, the other day my erstwhile farm hand. The erstwhile means previous. The other day my erstwhile farm hand Krishna came to me. He was perfectly healthy the last time I had seen him, but now he was standing before me, pale and breathless. He had stopped working in the estate some time ago and was driving a rickshaw. Apparently, when he changed his job, he started passing blood with his tools. Now it had become more serious and he was tired, breathless, and wheezing. I thought he must be having piles. As far as I knew, the only allopathic treatment for piles was surgery. I felt sorry for this man who used to work hard to earn a living with a wife and small children at home. I wondered how he could manage expensive surgical treatment at the hospital, which meant several days of hospitalization and so lack of work and income. It's quite natural if you see, if you compare your generation to your mother's generation to your grandmother's generation. If you see these three generations, your grandmother's time, the people of during the grandmother, they were young enough, active enough, and even today, if you see, your grandmother is much more active as compared to your mother and you. Why? Why? Because they did all their work by their own. They were not dependent on the technology. You might have seen, you might have heard from your grandmother that she used to grind on the grinding stone. She used to sit and wash clothes. She used to cook her own food and lots of things. All household chores was done by the ladies in those days by themselves without depending on the technology. If you see your mother now, of course, mother is dependent on the technology, and even you are still more inactive. Why? Because no technology plays a major role in our life nowadays. So you can see your mother, she'll just switch on one button and the grinding process takes place by the grinder. Or if you see your washing machine, she just switches on the button and the clothes are washed into the washing machine. So Krishna, when he was working in the estate, he was healthy, he was fine. But later on, when he started driving the auto, his only job was to sit. Maybe he felt okay, he's earning more money than what he earned when he was working on the estate. But later on, now he's realizing that it was really a very, very bad decision. His job was only to sit and make drop the passengers to their destinations. So because of this sitting and because of no body exercises, he got a problem of piles, and author says that the only solution, allopathic solution for this, is going for a surgery. He took some money from me and went to the hospital. Krishna being a very poor fellow, because he is the only person in the house who earns bread. His wife is not working and he has small children. So now he took some money from the author to visit a doctor, to consult a doctor. So he took some money from me and went to the hospital. The doctors there advised him surgery. Krishna was scared. It's quite natural, because when they asked for surgery, it is not an easy task. You have to stay in hospital, you have to get hospitalized, and you have to pay heavy bill. So here Krishna was worried, because he's, as I told, he was the only person in the house to earn his bread or to earn money for his family. So Krishna knew a Malayali sadhu. This godman had treated Krishna on an early occasion when Krishna had started developing boils all over his body. The godman had given Krishna the bark of some tree which he was supposed to crush and mix with duck's eggs and eat. The full course of treatment was 10 days. It seems Krishna had completely cured, and after the treatment, he never got a boil again. Krishna went to see the godman again. Now, the godman had become too old. Apparently, he told Krishna that he did not have the strength to search for the plant, but that he would describe it. Krishna had to search for this plant and dig out the tuberous root, mix it with milk, and drink the medicine for 5 days. If you just see this particular sadhu, Malayali sadhu, he gave the solution to Krishna. Why? Because he couldn't go to forest. He had grown old. When Krishna long back had the problem of boils, when he had boils all over the body, he had visited this particular doctor, native doctor, and native doctor had suggested a native medicine. What was that? Bark of a tree, which had to be taken with duck's egg, and you need to eat that. And within, as it is mentioned, within few days, within 10 days, Krishna was completely cured. That till today he had not got that particular problem of boils on his body. So for this particular problem of piles, he felt instead of going to the doctor and having allopathic medicine or doing surgery, it's better if I again meet my godman, or you can say Malayali Sadhu. So when he went over there, Sadhu was too old to go to the forest or too old to go to his particular place to find this particular medicinal creeper. So he described that creeper to Krishna and asked him that you need to have the root of it. You have to mix with the milk and drink the medicine for 5 days. The next day I saw Krishna looking for this medicinal creeper. When I listened to his description, I was sure that he was looking for the same creeper which Mara and Apanna had tied to the nearest tree. I took him to the plant. We had to dig quite a bit to get the tuber. Krishna ground this root and drank it with milk. Within a day, his piles improved. He was completely cured in 5 days. Krishna bid goodbye to his job as a rickshaw driver. Very good decision taken by Krishna. And as I told you, this particular about this particular plant. Of course, the picture which I have shown is not that plant, because from the starting till the end, author has not mentioned the name of that particular creeper. So he helped Krishna to find out the root of or plant and then dig out the root. And Krishna took the medicine for 5 days, and within 5 days, without any surgery, without any allopathic medicine, Krishna was completely cured, and he decided that he will not do the job of an auto rickshaw driver henceforth. Let's continue. Even more strange was that what happened to me. When we had dug up the root, I ate just a small piece of it just to see how it tasted. It was slightly bitter. It's quite natural when you are in search of something, or when you go to certain place where all of the delicious dishes are placed in front of you, you feel like tasting it. Of course, this was not a delicious dish, but author felt, okay, fine, let me taste the taste of the root. So when he tasted, he felt the root was slightly bitter. My right heel had been paining for quite some time. If I had to walk long distances, I would start limping. In addition, of late, there was a swelling next to the bone of my heel. The surgeon had said that it had to be surgically removed, but I noticed that a few days after I had eaten the piece of root, the swelling had disappeared. So maybe, like as I told you, he used to love roaming in the forest, and that he's mentioning that whenever he went, like now, not in those days, but now when he said recent, like he had a problem, he had a pain in his right heel, and he was literally jumping, or you can say limping while walking, and it was really very difficult for him. He had met a surgeon, and surgeon had said him that he need to go for a surgery, or you can say to remove that particular lump, or to remove a particular swelling. He had to go for a surgery. But when he tasted the root, when he saw that, when he tasted the root, he felt after a few days the swelling disappeared. At the same time, the pain which he had was no more. Let's continue. We are on page number 24. How can I say that this was the effect of the creeper? It's quite natural. He cannot directly claim that because I ate that root, my pain disappeared, or I got my right heel got healed. We cannot say about like exactly. So he says, how can I say that this was the effect of the creeper? It could have been purely accidental. It's quite natural. It may be accidentally. The pain which I had got cured. Even if it was so, there are various types of swelling that occur in the human body, and this particular plant may be effective on only some of them. Who is going to do research into all these aspects? For people like Mara, research is of no importance at all. Even the Malayali Godman shared his knowledge with Krishna only because he was too old and weak, or else he would have gone to the forest himself and given Krishna the medicine as a secret potion. The word secret portion, the meaning of portion means a small portion or dose of a liquid which is medicinal. So, what author says correct, because people are not interested. Even people like Mara are not interested to know about the real medicinal importance of these plants, or of these creepers. And no one else also wants to find, no one wants to study about, no one wants to do the research or experiment. That is what he mentions. Even Malayali Sadhu, if he would have been young, he would have gone to the forest, he would have brought the roots and given the medicine to Krishna as a secret potion. So, last part, it's very important, page number 25. One of the problems is that these native doctors believe that if they told others about their medicines, the medicines would lose their potency. Meaning of potency is ability or capacity to perform something. So they believe that if they share the knowledge about these medicinal creepers, the effect of the medicines will not be there. The ability or capacity of the medicines to perform will not there. So they don't share the knowledge. And because of this belief, India's native medicinal systems are on the verge of extinction. We just cannot say that really the capacity of the medicines goes down. It may be the reason that every medicine has its own side effects. If suppose they share about the knowledge, there are chances that people may overuse it or misuse it. So maybe to just avoid all such things. They always prefer to keep the knowledge about the medicinal creepers to themselves, so that they know exactly how much portion should be given, how much quantity should be given, and which particular medicinal plant, leaf, root, stem, or fruits or flowers are effective for which type of diseases. And because of this, they keep, that is what you can just conclude, that because of this, they have kept the knowledge to themselves. Only the person who is really interested, even now, they can try, they can listen from their, they can ask their grandparents, their parents. Even I have told you, you also can ask your grandparents, parents, friends, or the people, those who are around you who know about this particular medicine paper. You can try the good ones, not the poisonous ones. Experiment it and try to find out exactly what it cures. So it was a really very, very interesting lesson. With this, we end up the lesson, that is Around a Medicinal Creeper by Purna Chandra. In the next class, we'll see you. Till then, bye bye.